Greetings and welcome to What Marriage Means to Me with your host, SC Zulu. First, let me appreciate all of you who have subscribed to the channel. I'm so thankful and grateful for subscribing. And thank you also for leaving out comments and also for your messages that you sent on the side. I really do appreciate your support. Well, today, our topic is our different backgrounds and different upbringings. This is what I discovered when we got married. Remember, as you know, that I married when I was 18 years and it was 25 years. And these are the things that we encountered in our first beginning of journey of marriage life. And I felt like since we're still starting out, let me just share our first experience in discovering and seeing the differences and what we've learned in our journey. Well, I was brought up by my grandmother, and my sister was there, and he had his parents and his siblings. Anyway, this was our first challenge. Sorry about that. This was our first challenge. Well, this is how I was brought up when it came to the issue of farting uksuza. Okay. So my grandmother used to tell us that if you feel, because you feel, you feel when you want to fart. So she will say, if you feel like you want to fart and you feel in your body that you need to release yourself, release some air, please excuse yourself from us, go to the bathroom and go to a bedroom and fart there, but just don't don't fart in our presence. That's because the house was mainly females. So that is how I was brought up. So I knew that whenever I felt like, even my sister, whenever she felt like, we'll excuse ourselves from her, then I do our farts. But it was not the case with her. You know, she was old and she would do whatever that she wanted. But anyway, that is what I knew. And because there was no immediate male in my household, there are things that I did not know about men, like the issue of they fart a lot and anyway, like they have no disclaimer when it comes to farting. Number two, I did not know how to iron a man's trouser or shirt. I did not know that you have to cook for a man on a daily basis. So those are the things, as much as I grew up in a good household, but there were things that were specific that when I got married, I did not know. Anyway, my husband, okay, both of us were taught in terms of washing the dishes. As you know, I believe that also you also taught in your homes, or you were taught in your homes, that you need to wash the dishes, right? You wash the dishes at night, you wash, you wipe, and you pack. That's what you do. That's the routine. But because my grandmother used to work night shifts at work, and she would come back in the morning, naughty me, there were days where I would sleep without washing the dishes. And when that happens, when I don't wash the dishes, because I know that she will come back before I leave, she will come back after I've left for school. So I'll quickly wash the dishes before I leave for school. And when she comes into the house, she will not even know that the dishes were not washed. So it became a habit for me to wash the dishes on some days and to not wash the dishes on some days. Then here I got married. The first instance was, like I told you, there was no immediate male in my household. Got married, and this guy, when I wanted to fart, I would remove myself or excuse myself and go and do my business, right? Releasing the air. And here he was, like he would just fart randomly. And I was like, no, why don't you excuse yourself? And he will say, Splendid, there's nothing wrong with farting. Everybody farts. And I know everybody farts. But because of how I was brought up, in a house full of women, and because of what I was taught that you have to excuse yourself because you feel yourself that you're about to fart. But my husband would just dedela umoya, would just fart anyhow. And the more I told him about it and he did it, the more I got angry at him for not doing what I was expecting him to do. And in fact, let me rephrase, for him doing what I thought was the right thing to do, because I thought it was the right thing to do. In fact, I regarded it as part of being respect. When you feel yourself that you want to fart, you excuse yourself because you are showing the other person that you are respecting them. Anyway, he would do that and I would get angry or irritated. Especially, I would get very irritated by his farting ways. This one time, he knew about it, right? This one time when I was asleep, you know that nice sleep, middle of the night sleep, that sleep which is so when you are down in your dreams, like that nice sleep, and you just want to pull up the blankets, right? So as I was pulling up the duvet at the time, guess what? I was greeted by a smell I just could not contain. the smell. I woke him up and said, no, babe, wake up. I can't. I've been telling you that please excuse yourself. Why are you farting? At that moment, I know it's funny. I know, I know it was unnecessary. I know. But at that moment, it was like my mind lost the idea that this guy was asleep, and everybody fought when they are asleep, including myself. But anyway, I just lost all reasoning at the time. I was like, no, why are you doing this? Because I've been telling you that you can't fight like this. It's disrespect to me and one of you. And it was like, Spindile, you are just stressing unnecessarily. Everybody fights. Well, anyway, yeah, I did not win the case or the war, that argument, because it's a natural thing. But this was a big thing for me, because that interpretation on my part was disrespect. That was the interpretation, was he lacked respect towards me, and he disregarded my emotions or feelings at the time. Then I had a woman at church, an older woman. I think I asked her, Guti, how is it with your husband? Does he fart a lot or whatever? I have an issue at home. And she first laughed at me and she said, Spindile, ubaba uSibambani uyasuza, uyasuza ubaba uSibambani. And that is how I got my deliverance when it came to the issue of farting. But the process was not nice to me, and it was not also even nice to him, because we will argue based on, it was a small thing. It's a small thing, yes, it's a small thing. But to me at that time, it was a big thing because of the difference in my upbringing and his. And this is his case, right? Because both of us were taught that dishes must be washed, and so have you. And it became a habit for me because of my background, being my granny being absent at night. So I would not. So it became a habit for me to wash and to not wash, to wash and to not wash. So on those instances where I did not wash the dishes, he will say, Spindile, you know that you're not supposed to leave the dishes unwashed. Spindile, you know that they will bring cockroaches. You know it's untidiness. You have to wash the dishes. And I'll be like, oh yeah. I hear you. I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I just forgot. Another day happens. I do right. Couple of days later, I do the same thing. And it was not because I did not understand what he was saying. I understood what he said, and I believed what he said, and I was for what he said. But it was a habit. A habit is very dangerous, because as much as somebody may say to you, it's wrong, whatever that you're doing, because you've gotten used to it, it has become a norm to you. It takes longer to unlearn or to separate yourself from that habit. So this one time, I think one of the things, the wonderful things in our marriages, whenever we had issues at the time, we used to sort them out during nighttime. So I forgot, and we were staying in a flat at the time. So I forgot to wash the dishes. I don't know, maybe I was tired, or it was just one of those habits of mine. He woke up to go and drink water. I forgot that I left without washing the dishes. So I woke up and got to get water. So when he went into the kitchen, what did he find? Dishes in the sink. Let me tell you, I have never been woken up like that in my life. At that time, in my 18 years of life, I've never been woken up like that. Came to the bedroom, like, Spindile, wake up, go wash the dishes. How many times have I told you that you need to wash the dishes? You just don't listen. And let me tell you, I was not doing the unwashing of dishes because out of spite with the issue of me and the farting, but it was a habit, and I understood to a certain degree, but it was just a habit for me, and it was like irritated with Spindile. I've been telling you, you should know these things. Why is it not ringing in your head? Now, one of the things about my husband, that my husband can explain, like he can explain. He does not mind to explain one thing for hours on end. But anyway, so he started lecturing me on why it is important to wash the dishes at night, or any day you must wash the dishes. And it was in the middle of the night, me getting that lecture. I woke up, I washed the dishes. Obviously I was grumpy, washed the dishes, and that was the last time I ever slept without washing the dishes. And the process was not easy, because I discovered that both of us, we come from different upbringings. Yes, we were taught probably similar things, but our upbringings were different. I had a grandmother, he had parents. I had one sister who was older, who was quite responsible, and me, I was the baby of the house. So there were things that I used to get away with, and him, he was taught in a different way. He was, yes, the youngest among the 14, but there were things that he knew that it was his responsibility. And you know, and that thing of the difference of our backgrounds and also our upbringing contributed to some of our arguments in our marriages. And then I discovered and I learned that it's one of the things that make couples to fight or people in relationships to fight. That lack of understanding that, guys, you both do not come from the same backgrounds. You both don't come. Your parents might have taught you the same thing, but how you were taught and how it was displayed unto you might differ. And that is why I wanted to speak about that. Sometimes you don't need to take a small thing as much as at that particular time it's big. It becomes a big issue. But along the line, it becomes a small issue because you then discover to know the only thing that is we are supposed to be fighting about, it's not this. This thing is too small for us to make a big argument. And then I discovered that in marriage, it's not the big things. It is really not the big things that cause couples to fight. It's the small things. For example, other couples fight based on how one makes the bed. Other couples fight based on how one squeezes the toothpaste right, when they brush their teeth. Some want to squeeze in the top or middle or in the bottom. That is how one is taught. Some argue based on how when it comes to cooking, what is the first thing that they start with. Some want to start with the spices, some want to start with the oil. It's the difference of backgrounds. It's the difference on how each and every person was brought up. It's the different on how where a person brought up in terms of maybe the house, maybe the parents, or what. So those are the things that you'll discover. They become a challenge in any marriage. So I'm just sharing these. These are just my examples. The two ones, there are many, but I'm just sharing the two because at that time they were big, they were major things. Can you imagine? Now when I think about it, even now, like, God, I really spindle. You fought, you got angry just because the guy farted. At that time, I'm telling you, it was a big thing. Even him, how God, I'm saying to you, fought with your wife based on washing the dishes. You could have washed the dishes for her. But anyway, at that time, it was a huge thing. But we have grown, and that is why I'm sharing. That the difference, you have to understand that the difference in how one was brought up and the background that one was brought up from, it does contribute to the journey of love and the journey of marriage. And it does not mean that the couple does not love each other. It does not mean that you love each other. It's just that there are those differences. And at the same time, with those differences, each one of you have to have an element of patience. An element of patience, because not everybody can learn faster than the other. Some people are very quick to learn. Some people, they take time to learn. Some people, as much as they've heard, but practicalizing what they heard, it might take time. But it does not mean that your partner is being disrespectful to you. And it does not mean that your partner loves you less. And it does not mean that your partner does not care. And it does not mean that your partner does not take you as a priority. He does, she does. It's just that at that particular time, whatever that you are fighting about, whatever that is an issue, in his mind or in her mind, it's not a priority because he has gotten used or she has gotten used to how she has been doing things and how he has been doing things. So that is what I wanted to share with you. The difference of their backgrounds and the difference in the upbringing, they contribute to the journey of life. So till next time, okay? Next time we'll have another topic that we'll be talking about on what marriage means to me. See you next time, and thank you so much for subscribing. Again, please follow and subscribe. Till next time, love you. Bye.